You have the right to the truth, which I know sounds super, like, Penny knocked down Danny.
Danny, no! Hello.
Hello!
Today we're going to give some tips and pointers on how to recognize healthy and unhealthy relationships.
As well as talk about your relationship bill of rights, which we'll talk about what that means.
So, basically, the Bill of Rights is a list of things that you have the right to do in a relationship without feeling guilt or shame or being blamed for them.
Right. Your first and most important thing is your safety, your emotional and physical safety. If you do not feel safe around a partner physically, or you don't feel like you can really express who you are and what you want to do with the partner you're currently with, that's probably a sign.
If you don't feel safe to be yourself and do what you want to do and make your own decisions, then that's not a good sign.
Right. So, for example, say you want to try a new hobby, but this person that you're in a relationship with is discouraging it, saying you won't be very good at it or something like that. That's not healthy.
Mm-mm.
It's not very kind.
Another thing you have the right to do is decide your intimacy level and how intimate you want to be with your partner, and discuss rules of consent and define consent in that specific relationship.
Right. So consent can look very different in different kinds of relationships. So in more like kink central, it might be like a safe word or something like that, whereas for a lot of other people it would just be like, no, don't do that, no, stop that, or just setting a clear boundary with that.
A big part of that is like the fact that you're allowed to say no. If something does not feel right to you, doesn't even just have to be during sex, it can be at any point. If you feel like you have to say no, you're allowed to do that. And if they make you feel like you aren't, that goes back to emotional safety.
Right. So you have every right to refuse any type of physical contact. So if you've had a rough day and you just don't want to be touched, you shouldn't be made to feel bad for that. That's not your fault. It just might be overwhelming to be touched in that moment. So you should be able to tell them, no, I don't want that, just give me a little bit, or whatever you would like.
Yeah, so, like, there's nothing wrong with people needing space, especially if you live together.
Yes.
People are going to need their space, and that's okay. You're allowed to say that you need that at that given time, and if they don't listen to you, then you need to have a talk about that.
With anyone you're in a relationship with, you deserve the truth. The whole truth. In the last video, we talked a lot about lying and misleading people in a relationship. That is not productive or healthy or helpful.
Yeah, it's not telling the truth.
Yeah. You deserve to have the entire truth conveyed to you, no matter whether it's painful or anything like that, because just drawing it out, misleading them, lying to them is not going to end well. It's not going to make it easier for anybody.
Yeah. You guys have the right to disagree on things.
Yep.
If you and your partner are not going to agree on every little thing, whether it's something small like food or whether it's something big like politics or something, you're not going to agree necessarily on everything.
Right.
And that's okay. You just have to be respectful.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously, when it comes to politics, it's a little more touchy.
Yeah, it's a lot more complicated. So when Cale says politics, he more or less means like... So some people might be more fiscally conservative than others while having very liberal social views. As long as you have the same fundamental basis, you're fine.
Exactly.
Yeah. And if you don't have the same fundamental basis, it's just something you have to talk about, because that can, in the long term, cause issues. Probably.
Yeah.
You have to... There are some basic things that most people have to agree upon.
Yes, definitely. But, small, like, little things like that, if you disagree,
yeah,
just be respectful and be able to accept the other person's view, and they should respect yours.
Yeah, exactly. You should just be able to have a conversation about it. It shouldn't be just like, oh, I don't want to listen to you because your opinion's different.
And it shouldn't... The conversation about it shouldn't be you trying to persuade them either into your point of view. It should be more of, this is what I think, I understand this is what you think, we don't agree, but that's okay.
Sorry, Penny's chasing her tail, so I got distracted. So another thing is to feel and So another thing is to feel and communicate your emotional and physical needs. If you can't tell the other person what you need, that's probably not a good sign. So you should be able to ask for more time. You should be able to ask for more physical or mental attention. If you feel like you're not being paid attention to, or just like you need something more, you should be able to communicate that without your partner always telling you that you're being too needy or being too selfish or something like that.
Yeah, and communicating within itself isn't incredibly easy. Like we talked about in the last video, there's a lot of steps to it. But you should be in a position where you're able to be, like, you should be in a position where you feel like you're allowed to talk about how you feel.
Right.
Even if it's difficult for you personally, as long as the other person is willing to hear it and accept it and listen to it, then you're all set.
Yep.
So you have the right to set your own clear limits and boundaries in a relationship.
Right.
If something makes you uncomfortable, you should be able to express that it makes you uncomfortable and ask your partner to stop. And they should listen. They should respect that.
As long as they can have a conversation with you about it, and they're just not like, no, I won't stop this thing just because I like it. It's... Hello. It's a little more difficult than, like, just stop. Like we talked about...
Yeah, you should be open to hearing their point of view as well.
Yeah, because you don't know how they're thinking about it.
Yeah, but you should be in a position where you're able to have a conversation about it.
Right. So, of course, in every relationship, there should be a balance of give and take. So, with your partner, you can't expect them to be there for you every second of every day, and then you can't be there for them when they need you in a crisis situation, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can't expect one person to be everything for you. You also kind of have to take care of yourself in a way. But, of course, you should be able to lean on other people. So, it's a nice balance of giving the right amount and taking the right amount from the other person.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
ultimately you're there to support each other, and if one of you's not doing that, then you're
the balance is off.
The balance is off. There you go. Thanks.
Yeah. Going off of that, it's important to work together. So
in general.
Yeah, just in general, it's important that you and your partner are able to work together to solve problems. To help each other in times of need, just being able to come together and really communicate and work towards a goal together,
right? Or
find a solution together, that's just very important.
Yeah, so when you're talking about finding a solution, it's not just like, so say I have an issue with you, for example.
Oh, damn.
I know, who knows? It's something, I guess. And so we have an issue. The point of having a conversation about it is not to get into an argument of me versus him. It's to get into a conversation of how we can solve it and work together to do that.
Yes.
So a conversation about, like, your needs about not being met or whatever that case may be. That isn't you versus them. It's you versus the problem.
Yes.
Yes. And they're not the problem.
No.
So you have the right to decide whether you're monogamous or poly, which I know sounds like a very self-explanatory thing, but of course you get into those situations where, like, say, two people in a relationship, like, understanding that they are monogamous, and then later down the line, one partner has decided that they want to be poly, and they don't care whether the other person in the relationship wants to be or not. That's a problem.
Yeah, that's not okay. You have the right to decide if your partner comes to you and you are not comfortable with polyamory because you are not polyamorous, then you guys need to have a conversation about that, but you're allowed to be uncomfortable with that and not, like, that's not in your comfort level.
It's not for everybody.
Yeah, it's definitely not for everyone.
And it's completely understandable that you would have a conversation about that and be like, I don't want that. That's not what I agreed upon when we started this.
Mm-hmm. So nobody's perfect, sadly. So you're allowed... So nobody's perfect, so you're allowed to make mistakes. If your partner expects you to be perfect all of the time, and they just expect perfection and criticize you over and over and over again for every little mistake you make, that's not okay.
No.
You should be allowed to make mistakes, because everyone does.
Right.
And you should be allowed to learn and grow from said mistakes.
Yeah, and same for the other person. You're gonna do things that the other person doesn't like, and
Mm-hmm.
you didn't know. So then you express those concerns, you express those needs, like, hey, I didn't like when you did that. And then have them, like, explain their reasoning for doing said thing. You just have to kind of figure it out and accept that not everything's going to work out perfectly every time you do something.
Yeah.
Regardless of what it is. As much as we want it to. So, another thing, you have the right to end a relationship. I know that's also another, like, self-explanatory thing, but a lot of people are like, oh, especially teenagers, like, younger. I know my experience in high school is I didn't want to date a person that I was with, and then I felt guilty and, like, felt like everybody expected us to be together and all this kind of thing, and you're just like, well...
Love you, Chris.
Everyone expects us to be together, we should just ride it out. Especially if you're a teenager in high school, just end it. It's fine.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You're in high school.
If your needs are not being met, like if everything we've listed on this Bill of Rights thing, if even one of those is lacking, and you've had a conversation about it and they're not willing to fix it, but if one of your needs isn't being met and your partner refuses to work on it or listen to you or have a conversation about it, you have the right to end that relationship, and you shouldn't feel guilty or bad about it. Obviously, you are going to feel bad. Ending a relationship is not easy. It's difficult all around. Even if it's not healthy, it's still a hard decision.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But you have that right.
Yeah, you definitely get used to having this person that you talk to all the time, or this person that you're excited to see, and if you're still even a little excited to see that person and you decide that it's not a healthy relationship and you need to cut it off, it's okay to feel bad. It's also okay not to feel bad. It's okay to feel relief about it ending, because a relationship that's so stressful and then you're just sitting there and you're just like, why? It's going to, like, relieve some pressure when you're finally at the end of it and you're like, oh, okay. There's a wide variety of reactions to the end of a relationship.
Yes.
And breaking up is always hard. It's
hard. Yeah, it's not fun.
Because you also don't want to hurt anybody.
I know.
You don't want to hurt them, regardless of the type of relationship.
And it's like, when you've been together with someone for that long, now I'm just talking to you. When you've been together with someone for that long, like, then it's, like...
Even if you haven't been together for that long, if you become part of that routine, like, and you're constantly talking, it's hard to just say, hey, you're not what I need, and that sucks because I like you, but, like...
A lot of the times, people are better off as friends. Shout out to Chris. Yeah. Chris with the K. You're pretty cool.
Oops.
My bad.
I hope this has been helpful, learning some things about what you should be allowed to do and how you should recognize certain things in a relationship, which of course are not great, and feeling like you should be able to communicate your own needs and ask for what you need and do what you want to do.
Yep, you shouldn't feel trapped or stuck.
That's not a good thing.
No.
When you're just like, oh, well, we're here.
Yeah.
We live together. No. Move on.
Yeah.
I know it's hard. I know it's so hard, but just push through it and you'll find something better.
You have the right to happiness.
You do.
I hated that.
Whether you know it or not.
Whether you know it or not.
If you enjoyed this, please leave a like. Please subscribe to the channel. Share with your friends who need to hear that they might not need to be in the relationship that they're in.
Oh, God. Just because your friend showed you this, they might think your relationship is fine. They might just like us.
I don't know. Share, like, subscribe, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.